Coinbase earnings came in today super hot. And of course, what does this mean for retail in crypto? We're going to break it down for you guys. I think you're going to like it. My name is Paul Barron. We'll come back into Tech Path. Let's go into it today. I want to break down a little bit of Coinbase's earnings and what that might mean for a lot of projects out there in the crypto sphere, and really kind of where the market might be going. First up here, of course, Coinbase building for long term, $3.1 billion in overall revenue. Their adjusted EBITDA was $964 million, significant. I like some of the other stats in here that are more around where their growth is. And if you look in the middle of this chart right here, you'll see the 80%, which is crypto trading happening outside the United States. That's why I think this is going to continue to be strong numbers for Coinbase. So these are all good numbers. And of course, it had shown in their stock, it was up almost 13% on the day. Pretty significant out there as well. A little bit from CoinEdition right here. Transaction revenue reached $529 million, another big breakthrough during Q4 2023. Imagine what that's going to be for Q1 of 24. That's going to be significant. So imagine the next quarter over quarter for Coinbase is going to be considerably higher than it was this time last year. So subscription and services revenue also grew 12%. Again, 12% on a quarter that was, I feel, strong, but not as strong as what we are going to see in the coming months and over the next year. Coinbase balance sheet strengthened by reducing almost $413 million and growing its USD resources by $217 million year over year. So that was another big positive. And then the exchange projects its Q1 2024 subscription and service around 410 to 480. So again, just more growth for Coinbase. All this means good. And what does that mean from a standpoint of new investors? What it boils down to is you're going to have a lot more new people coming into the market. I want to go to a couple of clips. We'll get to some of those in a second, but I do want to focus in on some other things that have kind of helped maybe bridge the gap for what Coinbase is doing. With Ledger, of course, they announced Coinbase Pay, which is the latest deal that they have, all available now within the Ledger, hardware app itself and device. And then, of course, you had Pomp coming in here. I think everybody kind of recognized this. Coinbase just destroyed Wall Street's expectations. Why would Wall Street not expect a strong Q4, knowing that the likelihood of the EFT was or the ETF was coming through, knowing that we were continuing to see strong numbers in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of the altcoins? I don't understand why Wall Street would not have anticipated this a little bit. If you look at the stock right here on Coinbase, and this is on the 4 hour, just quickly, I want to kind of look at the little bit of the change over the last week. So there you are right there, almost 58% since the 7th of February. So pretty significant numbers in growth on Coinbase stock. So good for markets, I think, overall, for sure. I want to get to this first clip right here. This is what is Coinbase doing right? Listen in.
Well, one of the things that it's doing right is that it is, from a regulatory point of view, the most compliant exchange out there. And it's losing all its competition. Last year's demise of FTX was very important, and even Binance's issues have had a positive impact on Coinbase from a market share point of view. I think they're also in the right place at the right time, and they're executing brilliantly. The market is very volatile, so trading platforms benefit from volatility, and we certainly have had a lot of that recently. And then, of course, with the spot Bitcoin ETFs coming out, we've seen the price increase, or there's been volatility around it, but now it seems to be breaking out the price, and that's also good for Coinbase. So a lot of wins, and of course their EBITDA was fantastic. They've turned into profitability.
All right, so you can kind of echoes the points that they made on their earnings call, but why would you be selling Coinbase stock during this period of time? And that's what's happening with ARK. Cathie Wood answered that question here on this clip. Listen in.
Yes, well, Coinbase has had a magnificent move since all of the regulatory concerns were plaguing it last year. I think it's up more than fivefold. And so this is simple portfolio management. There are other stocks in the portfolio that are lagging. This has had a great move, and so it's simply trimming, profit taking, and really nothing more than that.
Yeah, so rebalancing, I think, is the key here that we often see in many of the crypto strategies that we use, even when you look at the number of altcoins and the variations on blue chips, et cetera, that reside in the investment strategies around crypto. So I would agree with that. I want to get into a little bit about Coinbase's earnings call and their statements toward ETF earnings. Listen in.
We even played a key role in the approval of the Bitcoin ETFs, as Coinbase was selected as the custodian in 8 of 11. This will unlock new pools of capital to flow into the crypto space, with Coinbase playing a key role here. We're earning revenue not just on custody, but also on trading and financing. This is really just the beginning. We're now starting to see some of these issuers file for Ethereum ETFs, for example. We've been named as the custodian in 5 of the 8 ETH ETF applications.
I think this is going to be a bigger role in the future because remember, BlackRock, Fidelity both have continued to see inflows. This, of course, engages the custody side of things for Coinbase in many cases. And with this continuing to grow and the likelihood of these ETFs still flying, until we start to see a deviation, and there are one or two things that I think Coinbase needs to be doing, and that is mostly around fees. We'll get to that in a second. But I think the other things they need to be watching for are some other trends that are starting to come into the marketplace. Now, they are touching on something that I think is interesting, and that is social and what that might look like in the future. I've got a clip for you. Listen in.
In 2023, we launched our own layer 2 solution called Base. This will help blockchains scale to 1 billion or more users. For instance, just recently, we've seen a surge of activity on the decentralized social media protocol, Farcaster. And the majority of developers are now building what are called frames on Farcaster using Base.
Coinbase's venture portfolio is a hidden gem that Wall Street doesn't seem to be taking into consideration in their valuation of Coinbase as a company.
Well, I definitely agree it's an undervalued long-term opportunity, and I think we have a strong disproportionate advantage in the market. What if in the early days of companies such as Google and Facebook and others, those companies had been able to make investments in the most exciting emerging internet companies of the time, like a Stripe or a Shopify? And we are now one of the most active investors in the space with more than 400 investments in our portfolio. One example is Farcaster that Brian mentioned before. That's one of the Coinbase alums who founded that. One area we're seeing tremendous energy around right now is the creator economy. So companies such as Paragraph, XMTP, Farcaster, all of these are looking to decentralize existing social platforms.
That's a bigger topic in itself, and if you haven't checked out some of our videos on that, make sure and go there because we do kind of break that down because it is a future there. Regulation is another one. Listen to this clip.
In the US, there are even 2 bills going through Congress now with strong bipartisan support. Coinbase, along with other players in the crypto space, contributed to an $85 million super PAC designed to elect pro-crypto candidates in this upcoming US election. And we helped create standwithcrypto.org, a grassroots movement for crypto advocates in the US. Their goal is to get to 1 million voters who want to stand for crypto in the 2024 elections. They're at 30% of that goal today with about 300,000 members, and it's growing every week.
This isn't necessarily going to be an easy road for Coinbase because they still have to get through the SEC. I think that's the next major step. And if they do, then I think we're in for a very interesting time in crypto for sure. If Wall Street has its way, I think it will work for sure. There's a clip right here that breaks down Coinbase and the SEC and what their current position is. Listen in.
Finally, we'll continue the fight in the courtroom to get sensible case law passed.
So, what is next? The motion is under submission, and the court did not specify any timeline for decision. There are multiple potential outcomes, but we are ready for any of them. The court could dismiss the complaint in its entirety, dismiss some of the claims but not others, or dismiss none of the claims at this early stage. Any claim that is not dismissed will then be the subject of discovery, which is a process that can take time. We are ready for discovery if that is the next step, which would include discovery for both sides. After discovery and before trial, we will have the opportunity to file a motion for summary judgment, which is similar to our pending motion in that it can end a case before trial. That is the type of motion that disposed of much of the Ripple case. Whether the case goes to trial or is dismissed, we will get the clarity we have long sought.
I think the question right now, obviously, once we get through those kind of things that Coinbase is facing as far as challenges, the other is going to be competition. Competition, of course, right now, I would say Robinhood is maybe the closest. I mean, you could look at Gemini maybe, but Robinhood kind of interesting here, a story right here. Robinhood reporting almost 43 million in crypto revenue. This is in the last quarter of last year. Company's transaction-based revenues boosted, obviously, off of cryptocurrencies. Overall transaction-based revenues up 8%. Let me zoom in on that for you guys, up to about 200 million year over year. Active users, though, were down. So that's the one concern. And then last year, the company announced that it had planned to expand, which it has done. A lot happening there. Overall revenue came in 471, beating expectations at 457. Another significant, push. And I think Q1 and especially this year, is going to be a tell for Robinhood going into this next market run. It's going to be a significant one to watch. I want to jump to a clip on the confidence and whether or not people are trusting Robinhood going in this direction. Listen in.
We're a technology company, and we've lowered the cost of servicing these customers relative to a traditional brick and mortar institution. And right now, for gold customers, we're offering not just a 3% match on contributions into retirement accounts, but on 401k rollovers and incoming transfers as well. And really, the idea there is we can offer this because we are a technology company. Our cost of servicing is correspondingly lower, and it's a great value proposition for people that are moving in larger accounts and who have accumulated assets, because you get an immediate boost to your retirement savings through it. And the crypto market share has been quite strong, and as we kind of announced in the November and December metrics, that increased substantially as well. So we kind of see market share coming to Robinhood from across the board in all assets that we offer.
That is the one thing they've done, is they've got a good breadth of products that are really starting to present to maybe people who are not necessarily just into crypto, but crypto, I think, adds to its strength and benefit. There are some other people that are bullish on Robinhood. Listen in.
This was actually a pretty good quarter, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. One, they actually have a trading group of people. Now, David, if you're a trading group person, then you're not going to earn that much on your account. So you're not getting that 4 to 5% that some of these other brokers have to give. And that, even Schwab, which is a company doing much better than people realize. But these guys have trading balances that they make a lot of money off their customers. At the same time, crypto is 20% and options is 60%. That is, in the new world, what young people do. So they've got a young bias. They have a couple new products that work. They've got a gold subscription that people like, that is gives you a little more things, a little for your money. David, I like the quarter.
I want to dive into their earnings call, because this is the thing that we need to pay attention to, because this does mean growth for crypto as a whole, because it does mean we'll see new retail investment coming into the space. Robinhood may be one of the first places they go and actually buy their first token. Listen to this clip here.
Gold subscribers were up 25% to 1.4 million, and assets under custody exceeded 100 billion. In Q4, we finished with $1.3 billion of net positive brokerage account transfers into Robinhood. And we've already exceeded that total halfway through Q1. And now we're winning net asset inflows from every one of our major competitors. We've already grown more in the first half of Q1 than we did in each of the last 8 quarters.
Makes sense, because we did see the real move, I think, in the markets, especially around crypto. And I still think crypto is going to be their number one play going into the next run. Even though ETFs do play a part of this, they had some things in their earnings call about the ETF boost. Listen to what they had to say.
So far, we're seeing nice interest in the ETFs, but we think it's additive. About 5% of our overall trading in crypto is through the ETF, with 95% still being on spot trading through the crypto business. Net, we're really pleased with the Bitcoin ETFs.
All right, and then I've got one more clip here on this that it goes into their earnings call a little bit further around Robinhood and Coinbase Pay. Listen in.
Last year, we were really focusing on the trader experience and providing clarity, which we believe we've made significant progress on, in just how much better our pricing is than that of our competitors. Our on-ramp technology, Robinhood Connect, we've been making meaningful progress there. And we announced a partnership with MetaMask a couple of days ago. And they do a really nice thing where you can actually compare the use of different on-ramps, and they sort it by which one is the most cost effective. And when you kind of look on that page, you see Robinhood at the top. We think we can be the leading player in bridging the worlds of traditional finance and crypto. So there's a lot more where that came from.
I think so again, back to their good products coming out. I think they're trending much younger in terms of the demographic. And also, I think they're starting to understand maybe where the future lies around reward systems, things of that nature. They had some stuff about their X1 card, which was a recent acquisition by Robinhood. Listen to what I have to say about that.
For increasing wallet share, the credit card is something we're very excited about, including a special credit card for gold customers.
All right, so here's the X1 card. This was a company that was acquired by Robinhood not too long ago. The other card competing in the space was Gemini. They had a big push on it for a while. Could this be one that maybe eats away from that market share in comparison? If you look at even though we haven't really talked about it, Gemini, them being one of the other American exchanges out there that I think would be in the competitive race here. All of this points, though, to one thing, and that is retail adoption coming into the space. What does that mean for crypto? Yes, it means upside and more trends upward. All right, so make sure if you guys are not part of the Diamond Circle, get in now. It's a great place to get additional content. Catch me out there on X. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.